first official statement on the ongoing protest led by the Cockroach Janata Party, also known as CJP, which has been demanding the resignation of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over the alleged NEET UG paper leak and other examination-related controversies. Well, the government's response comes after a day of high drama in the capital, where protest clashes with police and a rare round of talks between the government and the protest leaders unfolded simultaneously. Union Health Minister JP Nadda confirmed that representatives of the CJP approached the government for talks today morning. Sharing details on social media, Nadda said that discussions between the government and the protesters that began at around 11:50 a.m. He described the meeting as cordial and said that both the sides held detailed verbal discussions before the delegation submitted a written memorandum at around 4 p.m. Well, according to JP Nadda, this was the first time that the protesters had formally proposed talks with the government since launching their agitation. And following the meeting, the Union Minister appealed to the protesters to end their sit-in demonstration and cooperate with the administration in restoring normalcy in the central Delhi. JP Nadda said that the government had carefully listened to the concerns raised by the delegation and assured them that their petition would be considered through the appropriate channels. However, he did not announce any decision on the demands placed before the government or indicate any timeline for further action. The CJP delegation, represented by Saurav Das and Ashutosh Ranka, also confirmed the meeting. In a statement shared on social media, Saurav Das said that the two leaders met JP Nadda at his residence and submitted a written list of demands. Well, according to Das, the minister assured them that he would discuss the issues at the appropriate level within the government. However, he also clarified that no commitments or assurances had been given regarding the protesters' demand, and following the meeting, the CJP announced that its agitation would continue until the government accepts its key demands. Well, the protesters have placed three major demands before the centre, and their primary demand is the resignation or removal of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, whom they hold responsible for the alleged NEET UG paper leak and what they describe as repeated failures in the country's examination system. The group has also cited the CBSE Class 12 portal issues and delay in the CUET examination as examples of administrative failures under the Education Ministry. The second demand is the immediate release of social activist Sonam Wangchuk, who, according to the protesters, is currently admitted to the Safdarjung Hospital. The CJP has also demanded that there should be no restriction on Wangchuk's movement. And the third demand seeks financial compensation of 1 crore rupees for the families of NEET aspirants who allegedly died by suicide following the paper leak controversy. The protesters argue that the emotional and psychological impact of repeated examination controversies has severely affected students and their families. And earlier in the day, the CJP's Sansad Chalo march witnessed dramatic scenes in central Delhi, as hundreds of protesters gathered near Jantar Mantar before attempting to march towards Parliament on the opening day of the monsoon session. Delhi police had already imposed prohibitory orders in the New Delhi district and denied permission for the march, citing security concerns due to the parliament being in session. And despite repeated warnings, sections of the protesters attempted to move beyond police barricades near Parliament Street and Shastri Bhavan. And as protesters pushed through the barricades, police responded by using tear gas shells and detaining several demonstrators to disperse the crowd. Security personnel maintained that the measures were necessary in order to prevent unauthorized entry into the high-security government zones surrounding Parliament. The police also appealed to the public to remain calm and avoid spreading rumours or unverified information on social media, as authorities have clarified that while the protest at Jantar Mantar continued, reports claiming that protesters had been forcibly evicted from the protest site were incorrect. The police action, however, drew criticism from several opposition leaders who accused the government of using excessive force against demonstrators. They also questioned the use of tear gas and mass detentions against protesters, raising issues related to students and examination reforms. Well, the Cockroach Janata Party, which originally emerged as a political satire movement on social media, has increasingly evolved into a platform that raises issues related to governance, education and public accountability. Its campaigns have gained significant attention online, particularly among students and young people, and the latest protest has once again brought the spotlight on concerns surrounding competitive examinations, transparency in recruitment and entrance tests, and accountability within the education system. While the government has now opened a channel for the dialogue by meeting the protest leaders, it has so far made no announcement regarding any of the demands, including the resignation of the education minister. And with the protesters refusing to end their sit-in until concrete action is taken and the government urging them to cooperate in restoring normalcy, the standoff continues. Well, whether the talks lead to meaningful negotiations or further confrontation is expected to become clearer in the coming days as both the sides decide their next course of action. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.